July 1st, 1976. A small town in Bavaria, Germany. 23-year-old Anneliese Michel is dead. She weighs 68 pounds. Her knees are shattered from compulsive genuflection. She has pneumonia, malnutrition, dehydration.
And the people who loved her watched it all happen.
Yeah, pretty much. Her parents, 2 Catholic priests, and they all believed, like genuinely, deeply believed that they were saving her soul.
From demons.
Yeah, from demons. They performed 67 exorcism sessions over 10 months. And they have audio recordings of the whole thing.
Which I have to say, I have listened to. Okay, well, they are deeply disturbing. I will say that they pretty much sound like the 72, exorcist type movies we've seen over the years.
Yeah.
However, when you know the real, it certainly adds definitely a layer of uneasiness.
What kind of noises did you hear?
Well, again, imagine every exorcist movie you've ever seen. So I think the thing is, and we'll get a little bit into this a little bit more about why people either think it's real, may think it's real to this day, or are just going to state that kind of sounds like maybe it was just a young girl who was doing voices.
Yeah.
Does it sound like a young girl who's really trying to do a creepy, deep voice most of the time? Yes.
Okay.
Is it still creepy as hell?
Also, yes.
Yes.
Okay, so then here's the question. Was Anneliese Michel possessed by demons, or was she just mentally ill, a young woman failed by everyone who was supposed to help her?
Okay, so you know how they have like in every exorcist movie, they have like the one priest who's like questioning his faith.
Yeah,
you
always.
Know what I mean? So let's just consider me that guy, right?
Yeah.
So I was raised a certain way, and I don't think that's ever going to go away. So for me, it's one of those things where I want to explain it with science. But here's the thing. I don't know. I mean, I don't know how I feel. So let's talk it out. Let's talk it out.
So like, because you're like basically a psychologist.
Exactly. So after researching this case, I'm not sure anyone can truly know. No, I mean, because I think if you really break it down psychologically, you could probably explain everything, right? With like a certain symptom. Now, I always say that I don't know that religion and science can't meet together because they may explain the same thing in just different ways, right? So just because something is scientifically proven, it doesn't mean that that scientifically proven thing doesn't have a spiritual nature to it. All to say is, we can poke holes in this and we can find an explanation for all of it. But I think as a religious person, you can do the same.
So what you're saying is she might have actually been possessed. My takeaway.
I am saying that the people who witnessed it were educated, intelligent people. They believe they saw something supernatural, and I'm not comfortable dismissing that just because it doesn't fit in my personal worldview.
So this is going to be a weird episode, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, this is going to be the weirdest. Yeah, this one's going to be the weirdest. You thought we were going to do only one Halloween episode, but bonus track. No, because this is, I think... This is a creepy, creepy story. And to be honest, it has sparked many copycats over the years. There's that movie, The Exorcism of Emily Rose is actually based on this one. So it's a very creepy story. I think there's a certain allure and fear of exorcisms in general and possession that strike like a real deep primal fear in us, whether or not we're religious or not.
So we're basically going to present both cases of possession and mental illness and decide which one we believe?
Yeah, exactly. Or, I mean, maybe you believe both.
All right. Well, I'm Kathryn.
And I'm Gabriel.
And this is the story of Anneliese Michel. And fair warning, by the end, you're going to be more confused than when you started.
And that means we will have succeeded.
Sneaky footsteps in the night, clues that vanish out of sight. Grab your hat and magnifying glass. We'll talk this case and have a blast. Mugshot Mysteries, we're on the trail. Twists and turns that never fail. Laughs and chills, it's quite the show. Who did it? To
Anneliese Michel. She was born September 21st, 1952 in Leibelfling, Bavaria, West Germany. And to understand what happened to her, you need to understand where she came from.
So she is deeply Catholic. Like, this is not the running out of the shower, running into mass, trying to do your tie while it's just starting type of thing. This is not Sunday church Catholic. They are daily mass, constant awareness of sin and salvation and devils and angels. And this is a constant thought that they have every day of their lives.
And her mother, Anna, was intensely religious. And she carried guilt because she had a daughter out of wedlock before marrying Anneliese's father, Joseph. And that daughter died young.
So, as you can see, this is a family that has a narrative that's already about sin and punishment and eternal damnation. She's inheriting a lot of guilt growing up.
Yeah, Anneliese absorbed it. She was devout, obedient, and wanted to be just a good Catholic girl.
So, we all know teenage years are confusing, as I like to say. And you know what? Going through teenage years in a lifestyle like this also means that you are suppressing a whole lot, especially when you're going through changes. So you're suppressing your sexuality, your anger, your independence. Everything just gets shoved down.
Yeah, and then when she's 16, something happens. So it's 1968, and Anneliese is 16. And she wakes up in the middle of the night, completely paralyzed. Can't move, can't speak, and she feels this enormous weight on her chest.
So this is pretty easily explainable, and it's sleep paralysis.
It's horrible.
You've had it.
Oh my God. It's like horrible. It's horrifying.
Okay, so it is. And I went through a period of my life when I had it a lot.
Same.
It might have been during the
16?
time that I had my exorcism, the first one,
my God.
not the second one. No, it is terrifying because when I first remember having it, I was, awake, but I'm seeing shadows and I am feeling a shadow kind of like sit down on my chest. So basically, for those who may not know of sleep paralysis, what happens is your brain wakes up before your body does. Mm-hmm. So you're conscious. And when I say conscious, you're not exactly like up and about. You're kind of like half awake. So this is where that dreamlike state comes into play. So just imagine you're in like a dream-like state, but you can't move a muscle in your body. And you're screaming to your body, move, move, move a finger, do something, you useless body. And it doesn't do that. And while this is happening, a lot of people will imagine shadows, or I think in the famous painting, I think it's Goya, there is like literally like a demon sitting on somebody's chest.
Yeah. So if you've never heard of sleep paralysis and you grew up believing demons are real,
immediately you interpret this as a spiritual attack. Yeah. And that interpretation matters because from that moment on, Anneliese believes something evil has now visited her.
Yeah, and unfortunately, those episodes continue, and then she starts having seizures. She's diagnosed with epilepsy in 1969, and she starts to take some medication for it.
And, here's where it starts getting tragic. So temporal lobe epilepsy can cause really intense religious experiences, hallucinations, personality changes. Everything that Anneliese experienced could be explained with this neurological issue.
Yeah, could be. But here's the thing. The medication doesn't really work and the seizures continue. And now she's having visions.
And please do tell us what type of vision she's having.
Well, religious visions, of course. She sees the Virgin Mary. She sees demons. She hears voices telling her she's damned and she needs to suffer to atone for other people's sins.
Eesh. Okay. So this is kind of where we hit the first fork in the road. So what I would say is that I think to this day, again, science will call it epilepsy. I still think that there's plenty of religious people out there that will still consider epilepsy possession by demons. Now, I can give you a psychiatric explanation. So these auditory, visual hallucinations, these are textbook symptoms of psychosis, and they can absolutely be triggered by epilepsy. But in Catholic theology, saints and mystics have visions. So stigmata, ecstasies, locutions, hearing God's voice. So how do you differentiate between a mystical experience and a psychotic episode?
Can you really, though?
I don't know. If gods and demons are real, then some visions are real, and medicine can't really tell the difference.
So what you're saying is she could have been having both epilepsy and spiritual experiences?
I don't know that we know. And that's, again, what makes this so disturbing. There's not a clear answer, and maybe it is both.
All right. Well, here's the thing. By 1973, Anneliese is convinced that she's possessed. She can't walk past religious objects without feeling sick. She sees demon faces on people, and the voices in her head are just getting worse.
And that's when her family starts seeking help from the church. And they want an exorcism. And at first, the church says no.
Why? Like, why would they say no?
So, believe it or not, the Catholic Church actually has strict criteria.
Huh.
So you're supposed to rule out medical and psychiatric causes first. All right. So they're not idiots. They know mental illness exists. So let's get out of the way. Like that this is not a complete lack or breakdown of the church itself.
So they're basically like, you need to send her to the doctor first.
So they do send her to doctors. She's medicated. She's evaluated. Nothing helps. And the symptoms just get worse.
So then eventually the church agrees? Well, they have to, right? Because in 1975, the Bishop of Würzburg authorizes an exorcism.
Well, because from their perspective, they've done their due diligence. They've ruled out natural causes. What else could it be?
Well, guys, September 1975 to June of 1976, 67 exorcism sessions. 2 priests, Father Arnold Renz and Father Ernst Alt, both experienced and both believers.
And they're convinced Anneliese is possessed by 6 demons. And 6. Do you want to hear their names?
Yeah.
Well, okay. So we got a bag of all the famous ones. So we got Lucifer, of course.
Obviously.
You got Judas.
Ooh.
Can't have a party without him.
Nope.
You got Nero. You got Cain.
Not to be confused with Bane.
You got a disgraced priest. And you want to know the 6th?
Tell me.
Hitler
Of course,
for the win.
Germany.
Yeah. So even then, you just cannot get away from the name.
All right. So 6 demons.
6 demons. And they're documenting everything. They're recording everything.
All right. So then let's talk about what's on those recordings, because honestly, this is where it gets really hard to dismiss for me. The recordings capture Anneliese speaking in multiple voices, and not just different tones. They are completely different vocal patterns.
And you can easily see some of these tapes and listen to them, but they're very deep and guttural and masculine voices coming from a 90-pound woman who's only getting skinnier.
Oh my gosh. And here's what I can't get past. Witnesses say she would produce 2 voices simultaneously, like 2 distinct voices speaking at the same time from one person.
Okay, so psychologically, the explanation is dissociative identity disorder. So different alters, different voices.
But can alters speak simultaneously?
No. So that is not supposed to be something that can happen.
Okay, so then can you explain it? Like, how do we explain it?
I mean, God knows.
Doesn't he?
I don't know. Because I guess it could be like a vocal technique, like ventriloquists.
True.
Some singers can do like overtone singing. I mean, you're on Broadway type of person. But anyways, I mean, the idea is that why would she know how to do any of this?
I really don't know.
Now, if I'm being honest, I don't know also how a frail, untrained woman produces 2 distinct vocal patterns at the same time for extended periods.
Right. And that's what the priests heard. And so that's what they believed. The priests claim Anneliese was speaking fluent Latin, Greek, and possibly Aramaic, which are languages that she had never studied.
And so that's the thing. She knew some Latin from Catholic school, of course. As
Sure.
a good Catholic girl, you learn some Latin. But the witnesses say she spoke grammatically complex Latin. She used archaic forms. She responded to prayers before the priests even finished them.
So either she secretly studied advanced Latin,
which she probably didn't have the time or resources to do, probably something that her parents would have been aware of.
Yeah, or she was accessing knowledge she shouldn't have.
And so that's one of the problems. I can't verify this because the recordings are in German with fragments of other languages that I don't understand. I don't speak fluent Latin. So I think that for most people, they're going to have to take people's word for it. Some say it's genuine. Some say it's just rubbish that she's saying. That kind of sounds like Latin, kind of like when you say fake Spanish words, but just kind of use an accent.
So it's basically ambiguous.
It's ambiguous, at least to this guy right here, which means you believe what you're predisposed to believe.
Yeah, well, multiple witnesses claim Anneliese knew things that she couldn't possibly know.
So Father Wren said she told him private details about his spiritual life that he had never shared.
Mm-hmm.
She allegedly knew how strangers had died. She knew secrets that they had kept.
So she's either psychic
or Lucifer, Hitler, Cain.
Wow.
Or Nero were supernatural beings and they had access to all this hidden knowledge.
Or she was really good at a cold reading.
Which is when you're making educated guesses based on body language and context. And if she genuinely told Wren's things that no one could guess.
Well, then how do you explain it?
Again, I can't unless he's lying or misremembering. That's possible. Memory's unreliable.
Sure is.
Especially maybe after the 63rd exorcism.
I know. But you don't know that he's lying.
No one knows if he's lying, but I suppose him and God.
Well, here's the one that bothers me the most. The priests tested her.
Please do tell.
Well, they would give her regular water and tell her it was holy water. No reaction. Then they'd give her actual holy water and still, tell her it was regular water. Violent reaction.
Okay, so if that's true, that should rule out the suggestion that it's just a placebo.
Right. And she's not responding to what she thinks is holy. She's responding to what actually is holy.
Which again means that the priests are lying about the test.
But why would they lie?
To prove possession, I guess. I mean, they do want to prove Catholic theology, but more likely they're being honest and we might just be missing something.
Yeah, but like what?
I don't know. Maybe she could smell the difference. Holy water is blessed. Maybe it has some rose water in it. Maybe there's a subtle scent. Maybe she picked up subconscious cues from the priest's body language.
I mean, maybe. Seems possible.
She went through this 67 times.
Yeah.
So maybe blessed objects actually do have a spiritual reality that affects possessed people. If you're a materialist, that's impossible. If you're religious, this is obvious.
And you are?
I'm confused.
Same. Okay. But witnesses say it took multiple grown men to restrain her during exorcisms. Gabriel, she weighed less than 70 pounds.
And as a man of science, you would say like, this is adrenaline. She doesn't feel pain anymore.
Yeah.
She's just having bursts of incredible strength.
Okay, but to that I say, for hours while starving and emaciated?
Which is harder to explain. Your body has limits even with adrenaline in your body. You run out of energy.
So where's the energy coming from?
Again, here's where you say maybe the priests are exaggerating. Maybe it wasn't as extreme as they remember.
Or maybe something else was giving her strength.
Or maybe something else was giving her strength, and maybe there were 6 of them.
Well, weeks before her death, the demons allegedly predicted she would die on July 1st, and she did.
Which is either an incredible coincidence, or she was starving herself and knew she was dying. Or something supernatural knew when she would die.
Which do you think it is?
Honestly, again, I don't know. If she was consciously starving herself, she might have picked a date. But witnesses say the demons announced it before she was critically ill.
So foreknowledge?
Maybe. I think it's not the first time that a person feels when it's their time.
Yeah.
People remembering vague statements as specific predictions after the fact. These are things that they could have gotten wrong.
Hey, my grandfather told his wife in bed that he was going to pass away that night. He had seen Jesus and it was going to happen tonight and it was okay. And you know what? He did. So I don't know. Maybe.
And I believe him because it seems that when somebody decides that it's finally their time, they can let their body let go. And I think that might have been what happened here.
But you just don't know. All right. So let me summarize what we have. Okay, so we have a woman who speaks in multiple voices, sometimes simultaneously, possibly speaks languages she never studied, knows things she shouldn't know, reacts to blessed objects she doesn't know are blessed, has basic superhuman strength while emaciated, predicts her own death, and all of this is documented and witnessed by multiple educated people.
Correct.
And you can't explain all of it.
I can explain each piece individually, right?
Mm-hmm.
But all of them together in one person over that period of time, that's much harder.
So maybe she was possessed.
Maybe. Or maybe we're just not smart enough to figure out the natural explanation.
Or maybe the natural explanation is insufficient.
Or maybe the natural explanation is, in fact, insufficient. Okay, but let me make the counter case here. Because even though I can't explain everything, I think we can explain a lot.
All right, go for it. I'm all ears.
Okay. So first, we need to talk about disassociation and how the mind works when it's under extreme stress.
Yeah.
So when someone experiences severe trauma or psychological distress, the mind can fracture.
Mm-hmm.
Different aspects of personality, they split off into separate identities. That's dissociative identity disorder, what used to be called multiple personality disorder.
But you said alters don't usually speak simultaneously.
Usually no, but it could be incredibly complex. And in extreme cases, the boundaries between this can blur.
So maybe she figured out how to do it?
Maybe. I mean, she's certainly under about as much extreme stress as a human being could be under.
Yeah.
Or maybe the witnesses are wrong about hearing more than one voice. Memory is fallible, especially in chaotic emotional situations.
It's true.
There is this idea of a self-fulfilling prophecy of wanting to believe and taking things out of nothing. Mm-hmm. So here's something really important. Mental illness doesn't happen in a vacuum. It's shaped by your culture. It's shaped by how you've been brought up.
Okay. I'm just picturing like an actual vacuum. So what do you mean?
So if we're going like all the way back to medieval Europe, psychotic people thought they were witches.
Uh-oh.
Remember how witches became a thing? In modern America, people think the CIA is tracking them or the government is spying on them with drones at night. In the 1970s, Catholic Bavaria, they think they're possessed by demons.
Pause. There really were big drones that were flying around here, though.
And you are the people I'm talking about.
Yeah, I got really deep with that. I could do a whole episode. Anyway, so the content of delusion reflects the culture, is what you're saying.
Well, exactly. And look at the demons possessing Anneliese.
Mm-hmm.
Lucifer, Judas, Nero, Hitler. Those aren't random. They're culturally significant archetypes of evil that would resonate in that post-war Germany.
Yeah. So you're saying her unconscious mind generated demons that fit her cultural context.
Oh, that certainly seems plausible. That's one explanation. The other explanation is that actual demons would adapt their presentation to a culture to be more convincing, to be relevant.
So basically, either way, the symptoms just look the same.
Exactly. Either way, the symptoms look the same, which is why you can't prove it either way, or possibly religion and science prove it together.
All right.
So let's talk about what Anneliese was repressing.
Yeah, what is it?
Everything, obviously. She grew up in an environment where you had to be pure, obedient, sinless. There's no anger, there's no sexuality, there's no doubt.
Yeah.
But those feelings don't disappear, obviously. They get pushed into this unconscious.
And then what?
And then when they come out in an altered state, the demons were vulgar and sexual and blasphemous. Everything Anneliese couldn't be in her normal life.
Oh, so the demons were her own repressed emotions.
That's what Freud would say. No.
Oh, Lord.
The Freudian, Jungian interpretation, that shadow self, all the parts of you that you can't acknowledge gets projected as a demonic possession.
But couldn't it also be actual demons exploiting her repression?
Yeah. if demons are real and if you believe they're real and they're trying to destroy someone, they would definitely attack through psychological weak points.
Yeah. So again, both explanations fit. I mean, Lord knows we all have our demons. That must be where the expression comes from.
I just picture a priest and a scientist shaking hands.
Bipartisan.
So this is what I know for sure. Belief is incredibly powerful. If you believe you are possessed, your brain will produce symptoms consistent with possession.
Yeah, because the mind is powerful. So self-fulfilling prophecy.
Self-fulfilling prophecy, the placebo effect, psychosomatic illness, all of that shows that our beliefs have real physiological effects.
So Anneliese believes she was possessed and her body manifested possession.
Well, you know, I like to say this, but that's one explanation.
Okay, so what's the other? I know you got one.
She was possessed, and she only believed she was possessed because she was actually possessed, and that's why she believed it.
Ugh, you keep doing this to me.
Well, I genuinely cannot rule either of these things out.
Okay, but here's what bothers me about the medical explanation. She was on medication. She was diagnosed, and nothing worked.
Which is true, but as many of us may have found out, medication failure doesn't prove that you're possessed. It just proves that medication doesn't always work.
Why didn't it work, though?
Well, I think we're also coming from a time period where could be a wrong diagnosis, wrong medication, wrong dose. Could be that she stopped taking it consistently. Could be her condition was just treatment resistant.
Or could be medicine can't treat spiritual problems.
Could be medicine can't treat spiritual problems, yes.
You are infuriating.
If I'm honest, I think the honest answer is I don't know.
All right, fine. So then let's talk about the deeper issue here, because this isn't just about one case. It's about how we know what's true.
Okay. So the epistemology of the situation.
Right. So science says, show me evidence. And faith says, I believe because I believe. And those two things do not speak the same language.
And that's inherently science's problem. Science, you got to work on some stuff. No, science can only investigate natural causes, which you can see here, to all your senses.
Sure.
By definition, it doesn't detect supernatural.
Right. So then if demons are real, science would never find them.
Science would never find a damn thing because supernatural means above nature, outside of the realm of natural investigation.
So how do you know?
You don't, not with certainty. You choose a framework, materialist or spiritual, and you interpret the evidence through that lens. And to be honest, the lens might look different, but the answer might be the same.
Okay, so but then here's my question. I mean, do we think it could be true? Like both can be true and coexist.
So what do you mean?
Can Anneliese have been mentally ill and possessed?
Theologically, I think yes. Catholic doctrine doesn't say mental illness and possession are mutually exclusive. Demons could exploit existing psychological vulnerabilities.
So she could have had epilepsy and psychosis and demons.
She could have. And that's actually the scariest part. It's just a cocktail. And, that's the scariest possibility.
Why do you think so?
Because then medical treatment and exorcism would both be necessary. And they only did one.
Yeah, so let's talk about suffering, because Anneliese believed her suffering was redemptive.
Which is Catholic theology, offering your pain for the salvation of others.
Is there truth to that?
Psychologically, finding meaning in suffering helps people endure it. So the theory is that humans can bear anything if it has a meaning.
So believing her suffering saves souls is what actually helped her survive longer?
Possibly, but it also kept her suffering because if she got better, that meaning would disappear.
That's tragic.
It's incredibly tragic because whether she was possessed or mentally ill, she died believing her pain had purpose, that this had purpose.
All right, final question. And I want an honest answer.
Shoot.
Do you believe in demons?
I don't know.
That's not an honest answer.
It's the only answer I have just because I think I was raised both ways and I wouldn't want to limit myself. But I think if you've studied enough about this, there are just certain things you cannot explain.
Like what?
Going back on it, like how a frail woman can produce multiple voices, like how she responds to blessed items and she knows the difference of whether they're blessed or not, like how multiple educated people are all corroborating the same stories.
So are you telling me that you're agnostic?
I'm agnostic on the supernatural. I don't know if demons exist, but I know that dismissing everyone who believes in them as stupid or delusional is intellectually lazy.
So where does that leave us?
Uncertain and uncomfortable.
Yeah, very.
Like a first date.
Oh, man, but worse. All right. So July 1st, 1976, as we know, Anneliese Michel dies. She weighs 68 pounds and she's surrounded by people who loved her.
And depending on what you believe, they either tortured a mentally ill woman to death or they fought demons and lost the good fight.
And can't both be true?
I think for Anneliese, both were true.
Yeah.
She experienced something terrifying and real, whether that something was neurological or supernatural. Her suffering, she wasn't faking that.
Yeah, and I think that's what we need to remember. She was a person, not a case study, not a symbol. She was a person who suffered.
And whether or not you believe in demons or not, we have to reckon with the fact that the people she trusted let her die.
Yeah, because they believed they were saving her soul. So then, what's the lesson?
If we're to take a lesson other than telling a pretty tragic and certainly disturbing story, I think the lesson is that certainty is dangerous. The priests were certain it was demons. The skeptics are certain it's mental illness. And that certainty on both sides prevents a real conversation.
So should we stay uncertain?
I think we should stay humble. We should admit the limits of what we know. And I think we should prioritize keeping people alive over winning theological arguments.
Yeah, even if demons are real, though?
Even if demons are real, because a dead person can't be saved spiritually or otherwise.
All right, I have a confession.
Which is?
I listened to parts of the audio recordings while researching this.
And
they're disturbing in a way I can't articulate. It's not just that she sounds scary. It's that she sounds not human.
Which, I listened to and I had the same reaction.
So does that prove anything?
No, because my reaction, your reaction is subjective. Maybe we're primed to hear it as demonic because we know the context. Maybe if we heard the same sounds from a psychiatric patient, you would think it's just psychosis or schizophrenia.
True, but you just can't unhear it.
I can't unhear it. And that's what makes this case so unsettling. Not the explanation, but just experiencing it, learning about it.
Yeah. Well, Anneliese Michel, born September 21st, 1952, died July 1st, 1976, 23 years old.
And she was epileptic, psychotic, possessed, or some combination of all of these three things. We'll never know for sure.
Yeah, and I think maybe that is the scariest part.
And maybe that is the scariest part.
Happy Halloween, everybody. Stay safe, question your certainties, and if someone you love is suffering, whether you think it's medical or spiritual, get them some help.
Both kinds of help. Please don't choose between medicine and faith.
Yeah, both and, not either or. I'm Kathryn.
And I'm Gabriel.
And we still don't know what happened.
And that's okay.
Hey.
Yeah.
Do you think we'll get hate mail for this?
From both sides, hopefully. If we get it right, religious people will think we're being too skeptical. Skeptics will think we're being too credulous.
Good. Then that means we did it right.
I hope, maybe. Or maybe it means we're just cowards who won't take a stand.
You really don't know what to believe, do you?
I really don't. And I think that's more honest than pretending I have all the answers.
I mean, it's uncomfortable.
Especially because it's uncomfortable. Again, truth is uncomfortable.
You think we'll ever know, definitively?
No, I think there's one of those things where you choose what to believe and you live with the consequences of that choice.
Well, what did you choose?
I choose to be humble. I choose to admit that I don't know.
Think that's enough?
Again, it has to be because it's getting late.
All right. Well, follow us at Mugshot Mysteries Podcast on Instagram and TikTok. Happy Halloween. And until next time,
stay spooky.
clues that vanish out of sight. Grab your hat and magnifying glass. We'll talk this case and have a blast. Mugshot Mysteries, we're on the trail. Twists and turns that never fail. Laughs and chills, it's quite the show. Who did it? Tune in to know. Stolen gem, a secret note, a shady figure in a trench coat. The clock is ticking, the plot gets thick. We'll crack this puzzle quick as a click. Mugshot Mysteries, we're on the trail. Twists and turns that never fail. Laughs and chills, it's quite the show. Who did it? Tune in to know. Follow the breadcrumbs through the haze. Every clue's a piece in this crazy